Namatho Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is Thursday, the 25th of February 2021, and this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So as usual, I'm here with you all tonight again. Hello Yvonne, how are you? Hello Margaret, good evening, good evening. I hope that you're all having a wonderful time. So, good evening everyone. So today, all the monks have shaved their head, so bald, no hairs at all. So we don't need a salon, although there is a lockdown, so people can't go to the salon. I don't need. I've been shaving it since I was a novice. So now I am saved. And the reason behind the saving is that according to the Thai tradition, Thai Buddhist tradition, on the one day before the full moon, every monks and the novices and even the nuns should shave their head and also eyebrows. Just getting ready for the full moon, which is tomorrow. And on that full moon, people will be coming to the temples or attending sermons and practicing a meditation and observing a sila, the eight precepts. So 8 precepts. And now I would invite you to observe 8 precepts tomorrow from 8 o'clock. So we will have a service from 8 o'clock tomorrow online, but mostly will be in English, in Thai language. The English one will be on Saturday. So tomorrow will be service starting from 8 o'clock in Thai, and it starts off with observing the 8 precepts. Anyone knows what are the 8 precepts are? You can type it down here. So observation of 8 precepts. Yeah, anyone knows what are the 8 precepts are? I think I have told you a story how I became a Buddhist about 20 odd years ago. It happened that it was a full moon, and the people were preparing for the service, and I went in, and one of the girls told me that, would you want to observe 8 precepts? And then I said, sure, why not? And that's how I observed the 8 precepts. And then she mentioned, and among the 8 precepts, she said only one precept, that was not eating after noon. Then I said, oh, that's fine, just for a one day, I can manage it. So, and that's how I observe 8 precepts, and that's how I become kind of, a regular visitor in the temple, the monastery, and attending the chantings and meditation and study Buddhism. So probably 23 or 24 years ago. So, what are the 8 precepts? Anyone? Anyone know? Just 3 more after the 5 precepts. First, you can type the 5 precepts and then 3 more. One I already said, not eating afternoon. Yeah. So, and this particular full moon is regarded as one of the very important full moons in Buddhist calendar. Although there are 12 full moons, In Thai tradition, there are few full moons that is widely practiced, and even is a national holiday, and that is the Magha Puja day, which is tomorrow, full moon day of tomorrow. And then the second is Vesak day, where the Buddha was born, and he enlightened and he passed away in that full moon day. And the third one is called Asala Puja, means the rains retreat. So these are the three main full moons that Buddhists celebrate. And in Sri Lanka in particular, this coming full moon, this is tomorrow, celebrated as a Nawam, full moon. And on this day, there will be a processions and a dancing on the streets and so on. So it's a big ceremony. I am waiting for the 8 precepts. Right, okay. And then this particular full moon, which is we are going to have it tomorrow, it's called a Magha Puja. Magha means a month of lunar month, Magha month, and then Purnima is a full moon, and then Magha Purnima, it becomes a Magha Puja. Puja means worship. And the story is that lunch, right mindfulness, right concentration, okay. No food after lunch, right mindfulness, right concentration. That is not all, okay. There's more too. On the full moon of Magha Puja, what happened was that after Buddha attained the enlightenment at the age of 35 under the Bodhi tree, he marched on sharing his knowledge to the people. And it says that for the good and the benefit of both humans and celestial beings. So he traveled for 9 months, and within that 9 months there were monks more than 1,000, or almost over 2,000 monks, and among them there were 1,250. This is the number, quite interesting number. 1,250 monks, those who were ordained by the Buddha himself, and also attained the Arhat, one who had abandoned all 10 feathers that I was talking yesterday. So all 1,250 monks had abandoned all those feathers, and which starts from personality view, doubts and rites and rituals, essential pleasure, essential lust, irritation, attachment to the essential, the form realms, attachment to non-form realms, and attachment to the restlessness and then conceit and ignorance. Okay, so that is the one who had abandoned, known as the Arhat. Right, Margaret? So I will give you a clue. I will give you an answer. So 8 precepts are, which starts from the 5 precepts. The number 1 is not to kill any beings, but to share loving kindness. Number 2, not to take which is not given to you, but learn to be compassionate and sharing. And number 3, here, rather than sexual misconduct, is a celibacy. So celibacy, practicing of a celibacy. Oh, Pontip, you are writing quite a long answer. Well done. It's only 6, 8, 7. You need 8. Oh, okay. You okay, your answer number 3 doubled. Okay, So yes, that's right. And number three is a rule of abstaining from unchastity or celibacy. Yeah, and the number 4 is abstaining from false speech. Number 5, abstaining from taking any intoxicants. And number 6 is undertaking the rule of abstaining from taking food afternoon. Number 7, undertake the rule of abstaining from dancing, music, visiting shows, and makeups, and wearing the ornaments and decorations. And that is, I think, would be very hard for ladies. And number 8 is the abstaining from the high sleeping beds. So more, too comfortable beds are not allowed. So that is the observation of 8 precepts, and I would encourage you to observe for a day tomorrow from 8 to probably 4 o'clock. So although it's saying day, but it's not a day, it's just a half a day. Because after 4 o'clock, you will be asked to observe 5 precepts. So leaving the 8 precepts and you're observing the 5 precepts, that means you're coming back to the household life. 8 precepts is basically you are raising from the normal lifestyle, and that is, we can see from not using any musics or makeups for a day. Yes, not my comfy bed. Yeah, for the day. Okay, for the day, and in the evening you can again go back again. So that's why it's just like a form of a mental preparation and preparing to observe the 8 precepts at least for a half a day. There is a story of observing a half a day that during the time of the Buddha, one villager, one man who was coming into the town, and it happened that on that day he got a job in that wealthy family. And normally in that family what happens was that every full moons they would observe 8 precepts. So that means they will not eat after noon. But this man didn't know that. So this man haven't ate in this morning. But he was working so hard, and in the evening when he comes back to home, he realized that there was only one meal on the table. Yeah, only one meal on the table. And then he was suspicious. What happened? What's going on here? And then he inquired, and later he found out that, in the house everybody is observing 8 precepts so that nobody is going to eat. But you didn't accept or didn't observe the 5 precepts. So you didn't observe 8 precepts and you're observing the 5 precepts, so that you have got only one meal a day, one meal for today. And then he asked, what is the how do you observe? And then another gentleman explained to him that observation of the 8 precepts is like this, and not eating even after noon. And he felt also want to be part of this family and want to observe the 8 precepts. So then he he asked permission from this man to observe 8 precepts. But this man said to him, saying that, you have been working so hard, you must be hungry, you don't have to observe 8 precepts, just eat it. But he insisted that, no, I'm not going to eat, I'm going to practice these 8 precepts. And then with that he observed 8 precepts in front of him, in front of another man. So he didn't eat. But because he was working so hard, he was very hungry, and in the night, middle of the night, he felt very hungry, and his stomach was just spinning and like so much pain because of the hunger. But he mentally was very strong, and he told to himself, even though I may have to die, I am not going to eat. I am going to observe these precepts. And it did happen that, the story says that by the time just about to the sunrise, he couldn't bear this pain, he couldn't bear this hungry pain, and he passed away. But spontaneously he was reborn in the one of the celestial heavens, and then later he, as a celestial being, came down and explained to the monk that how he achieved the celestial heaven. So that's why, even though you are observing just for a half a day, I am pretty sure that because of your intention is pure, your intention is clear, with that you will be observing and you will be gaining a lot of merits for sure. Now Pontip is posting one more time with the corrections. Thank you very much for sending all the 8 precepts for us to remember. Thank you. So that's why observation of the 8 precepts are very, very fruitful. And again, as I have been saying, that observation of 5 precepts is basically living harmoniously in the society, in the community, in the worldly affairs, so that we will be having a security in every forms. Suppose a person who is practicing first precepts, they not to take any beings, not to take lives of any beings. That means you are providing the safety for them, and they feel safe in front of you. And similarly, if you are not taking you are practicing a second precept, which is not stealing or taking things that is not given to you, and obviously you are ensuring their belongings, and they will trust you, and they will be feeling mental happiness, mental comfort of that insurance in front of yours presence. And similarly, practice of the number 3rd precepts, which is the observation of not having a sexual misconduct, which brings the respect for one another, and also being trustworthy to your own partner, to your own partner. And with that, you are having a much harmonious lifestyle. Meanwhile, a person who doesn't speak any faults, then again you are obviously promoting this truth, and only happiness will increase. Everybody will be trusting you. And the last one, obviously, a person who do not drink alcohol, or things that doesn't take things that clouds their mind, then obviously their mind will be always sharp, and mind will be always alert, and always in a wholesome state of the mind. So as a result of that, they are also protecting others not to fall into the delusion. So this is the 5 precepts is basically, these are the precepts to live in the community peacefully and harmoniously. So if everyone practice in accordance with these 5 precepts, I am pretty sure that the community will be much, much better, and much, much peaceful and harmonious, and there will be a caring and a sharing one another. So we wish that we could have such communities around. And having said that, although this is a Buddhist teaching, doesn't mean that everyone will be practicing in accordance with these 5 precepts. But however, we promote and wish everyone practice with it. So that is the 5 precepts. Now, whereas you are practicing 8 precepts, that means you are lifting yourself from the worldly matter. It's like you are emerging from the water, the lotus flower just emerging from the lotus above the water surface. So you're living living things that the worldly life enjoys, like the number 6, so number 7. Number 7 is basically abstaining from listening the music, abstaining from watching the movies, abstaining from makeups, and abstaining from any ornaments that you're wearing. So that is basically you are learning to let go of these worldly affairs. Worldly affairs. And you're not having any attachment to these materials. Furthermore, the number 6, the precept number 6, which is abstaining from taking food after afternoon, and then that is, if you look at it, our whole world is in trouble because of the eating habits, eating problem. And we are always in a circle of going into the cycle of creation or working so hard. That is simply to have a food on a table. That's all. And similarly, if we look at the Buddha's teachings in one of the discourses called Aganya Sutta, in the long discourses, he explained that how the revolution of human governance developed. So initially, people didn't have to work and collect the foods. The story is that every time, whenever you want to eat, you just go into the field, collect the food, and eat. And this nature was just providing all the necessity foods, and no one was owning those plantations, and no one owns any places. But it happened that somehow, some of the group of people thought, I'm very lazy, so I will better keep for tomorrow so that I don't have to go back again in the field to collect the food. And that's how they separated the land after land, that this land belongs to this clan, this land belongs to this group, that group, and this. That's how all the system developed. And that's how the ruler developed. The kings were paid to protect anyone who is invading one another, another's field or another's crops, and collecting them. But however, over the period of a time, as they were paid to protect them, they in return become the ruler of the whole citizens. And that's how the king and this citizen developed. But now, whereas even nowadays people are paying a tax for the government to run, for providing the protection to the citizens. But however, nowadays what is happening is that the politicians are thinking that they are the ruler of the citizens. And this is how it was. A similar concept was that time too. So that's why the eating habit is the main root cause of all majority of the problems. And now, when you are practicing this, what happens is that you are controlling your desires. And even some psychologists said that if you can control your eating habits, you can control everything. Now, you can try that one. So if you can control of your eating habits, you can control everything. And this is very, very hard to control our eating habits. There are so many things that we don't want to eat, but we are just going back again and again and taking it again and again. There are so many things that doctors told us not to have it because of your physical health. But again, it's one is okay. And this is one of me, and me also like that. Yeah? There are certain things that I cannot eat. But whenever it is on the table, I cannot resist. So I just take it. Challenge accepted. Well done, Karina. Okay. So tomorrow, observe the 8 precepts. Okay, so this is eating habit. So that's why once you observe these 8 precepts, basically you're raising up a little bit more. Same in the third precepts, in the 5 precepts, is basically you are not having an affair out of your marriage. So that's all. But whereas once you are observing 8 precepts, that means you are not having any sexual relationship with your lawful partner, which is very difficult because the whole world is in this way, the lustful, driven by the lust. But the practice of 8 precept is basically you are learning to notice your mind and you are controlling your senses. When you see your partner or how sexy or how handsome like that, automatically this lust, sensual lust generates. But now here you're practicing 8 precepts, that means you're controlling your senses. And when you control your senses, and with that you are raising your spiritual ability, your mental strength, you are developing furthermore. That's why it's really important to train yourself to practice a little bit more than just the 5 precepts. Yes, 5 precepts may not be completely purely observed. However, whenever we have an opportunity, we should be observing 8 precepts just to train and condition our mind and mindsets so that gradually we can further develop more. Right, so I end here with the 5 precepts and 8 precepts in regards to the full moon, and I encourage you all to practice 8 precepts from tomorrow 8 o'clock, which we will be on live and we will be reciting all those 8 precepts as a form of a formal observing of the 8 precepts. And then obviously after 4 o'clock again we will give you saying that okay, now I'm going to return this 8 precepts and then coming back to the 5 precepts so that I am become a kind of a worldly and a normal person in the community like that. Okay? So after that again you can eat, no problem. But important is your intention and then practice. So thank you, and may you all be well and happy. In a few moments time you're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You are most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and see you shortly. Thank you.